you as a tennis player, you as a Hornet, rising senior, of course, 4.0 GPA. Another big thing that happened last week in relation to that story, we talked about in that write-up being the COSADA third-team All-American, which is a huge thing, especially in this program. But, we could go on, and maybe I'll put some lower thirds up. I mean, it's a scroll in terms of how many things are associated with you at Lynchburg. So without saying all of those things and putting them all out there, I want to dive right into the question of how do you balance being able to stay at the top of your game related to tennis, because your record continually grows and you become a part of the flight 2, 3, and 4 at times. Westover honors, again, I mentioned the GPA, dual minors. I mean, where does that come from? Where does that ability to balance everything come from?
I think it comes from growing up. I was always trying to keep up with like my older brother and sister. And so that drive early on really just, I don't know, I guess is carried into college. My freshman year, I just decided that I wanted to do as much as I could while I was in college, because you only have 4 years of it and then you have the whole rest of your life to work. So I wanted to do as much as I could. So each year I kind of just added something new, thinking, if you kind of just pick it up slowly, then it doesn't really seem like you're doing all that much. And then really being able to just put it all in a planner helps me out a lot, just keeping track of it that way. I don't know, I feel like I just kind of break up my day. During the day I'm focused on my classes, and then when I get to practice, all I'm focused on is tennis. And then after that, whatever kind of meetings or things I have, I focus on that and then focus on homework. So I tried to just compartmentalize all those different things. And so I'm never too overwhelmed by all of it at once.
Well, at the top of the interview, I mentioned that you're there in Jamestown. There's some pretty stellar female athletes that have come through that area. Sarah Kuhn, Sammy Goldsmith, in relation to women's basketball, and you're becoming one of those as well. What has been the overall goal for you coming into each tennis season, and has the shortened junior year for you, did that affect kind of where your goals were headed, or do you still think you'll be able to meet those next season?
Yeah, so freshman year I came in and I was just really happy to be there, and I wanted to learn a lot and just sort of get into match play a little bit. And then sophomore year, I'd worked really hard to kind of try and move up in the ranks, but then I was hurt for 5 months. So when I came back, I wasn't really playing the tennis I wanted to. And then that summer and all through the fall and winter into my junior season, I have probably never worked that hard at tennis or being an athlete in my life. And so it was definitely very disappointing to have the junior season end the way it did, because I really did feel like I was having a good season and playing the tennis that I wanted to be playing and competing well for Lynchburg. But now, when I got home, I was definitely pretty discouraged. I took a couple weeks away from tennis. I don't know, I just wasn't, I don't know, when you put that much time into something and then it's just kind of ended right, out of the blue sort of, it's kind of hard. So then I just took a couple weeks off, but now, especially after surgery, I'm just ready to go, ready to get back on the court. Hopefully next week I can start doing that again. And definitely going into my senior season, after losing a season, I'm just ready to go and leave everything on the court and see what I can do.
Well, another interesting part about that shortened season was the fact that you guys were actually the last team to be playing. When you look at the schedule, you were already in Hilton Head, so it wasn't like you could just really turn around and come back. So while other teams did not get to play that weekend, you guys got to finish the season out. Was that situation one that was kind of evident amongst the teams? Did you really talk about it at all, that, hey, we're the last ones going here? Or did it not really affect you guys because you were so focused on the task at hand?
I don't think we ever really thought about it as a whole for Lynchburg that we were the last ones playing, but we definitely thought about it as a team, that it was our last time playing together that season. We didn't really have the best last match, but I think just because Wooster was so good. But I think we all went down fighting, and I don't think any of us have any regrets from that match. But yeah, I would say nobody really talked about it being the last one for Lynchburg, but definitely the last one for the season. And I think all of us really had that in mind going into the match.
Well, it's refreshing to know that you guys still gave it your all and felt like you put it all out on the line just in case it was going to be the final one. And certainly can't wait for you guys to pick that back up next season, whenever that, however that shakes out. The last thing I want to get to before we go is something that you mentioned in the release written by Mark Robertson, was talking about the opportunities at Lynchburg and how that has helped you, put you where you are now, is the ability to do many things. Why is that, or why was it so important? Was that something that you saw before you came to Lynchburg, or is that something that you have kind of seen develop throughout your time as a student?
Definitely when I was making my decision on which college to go to, a lot of people were pressing me to go to a bigger school because they thought, at a bigger school, there would be more opportunities there. But I really just, as soon as I took a tour at Lynchburg, I just knew it felt like home to me. And then while I've been there, the opportunities just keep getting bigger. Every year, like I said, I try and find something new to be involved in. And I think at a bigger school, that would be very difficult because there's so many people trying to be involved in the same things. I also think it's really great that as undergrads, we can do research, whereas a bigger school, there's so many people vying for those spots to do research. So I think that's a really great thing that Lynchburg has allowed me to do. So I guess it's kind of a mix of what you said. I sort of knew it coming in, but then once I got to Lynchburg, it really all just came together, and I'm just very thankful for all the opportunities at Lynchburg.
Well, we are thankful for you and what you've done in your time. You're certainly a great ambassador of Lynchburg and a Hornet student athlete. You've gone beyond the call of duty over the last month or so, and I appreciate your time coming on to talk a little bit more about that. And certainly, as I mentioned many times, I am one of the many that are looking forward to seeing you all in person and doing these things in the same area, hopefully pretty soon. So thanks again, and good luck with the running and getting back in shape.
Thank you so much.